Alrighty, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Max Sheriff Dunks, and this channel is dedicated to helping people to run faster, sprint faster, jump higher, become super explosive, and really just to become freak athletes. And in this video today, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know, and this is going to be stuff you've never heard of in order to run sub 4.7 seconds in the 40-yard dash. I can guarantee if you commit to all this, you can truly run a lot faster and you can accomplish all your goals as an athlete and you can become the best player on the field. So I think we should get into it now. First of all, if you want to sprint faster, the number one thing that you could possibly do is sprinting. This is all about the law of specificity. So if you want to get better at something, you have to do that thing more often. Period. Simple as that. What would a painter do if they wanted to get better at painting? They would paint more, wouldn't they? Now, sprinting, it's a fast, short ground contact time activity with insanely high ground reaction forces, both horizontally during acceleration and then vertically during upright sprinting. They also develop your fast twitch muscle fibers. Now, I cannot preach to you enough how much you need to develop your fast twitch muscle fibers, right? So when you develop your fast twitch muscle fibers, something really cool happens. And the fast twitch muscle fibers are developed by sprinting, right? Sprinting is the fastest thing you can possibly do. It's the most advanced human movement. When you develop those fast twitch muscle fibers, you get better and better and better, and it kind of compounds. So as you sprint more, you're going to get faster. The other beauty is that these max effort sprints self-intensify. So as you get better and better at them, more proficient at the skill of sprinting, the sprints themselves become more and more intense and serve to continue overloading your body more and more and spurring on adaptations. The adaptations make you sprint faster. Additionally, sprinting is going to make you really elastic and make your tendons really stiff so that you can sprint really fast. All in all, there's literally no single better movement pattern for increasing general athletic capabilities than max effort sprinting. If you want to get fast, you have to be sprinting 2 to 3 times per week, period. Enough said about that. Now, in terms of the nitty gritty of the sprints, you have to be sprinting above 95% of your max speed. Otherwise, you're not training max speed, right? And the way we do this is we rest a lot in between sets. That means 1 minute per 10 minutes sprinted, at least, right? So you need to rest a lot so that you're not tired when you go into your sprint and so that you can really give it your all and push max intent. Additionally, you need to warm up well so that you're amped up and fully ready to go and sprint at your fastest possible when it comes to getting to your sprints. And I've preached here that intent is so key. We need to think about our sprint training as performance training, right? We can't be doing it when we're not fresh. We can't be doing it when we're tired. It has to be going at maximum performance. We have to be pushing the barriers. We need to be going as fast as we possibly can because otherwise we are not going to get better. Simple as that, okay? So sprints, really important. Now, sleds. Sleds are a very potent tool, especially in the 40-yard dash where we want to increase our body's ability to accelerate, right? We want to get better at accelerating because the 40-yard dash is very dependent on acceleration. The likelihood is that if you can accelerate well, you're going to have a good 40-yard dash time. And acceleration is one of those key metrics when it comes to team sports, okay? In an American football player, sometimes top-end speed is not as important as acceleration. In football, in rugby, in all these sports, sometimes acceleration can actually be more important. How fast you can explode off the line. Now, sleds are very, very good for increasing your horizontal force production and your horizontal power. It also that develops your acceleration, right? Acceleration is horizontal and then upright sprinting is vertical force production. Get better at horizontal force production, you're going to get faster. Simple as that. And yeah, sleds increase that. So do sleds. And the way you want to do this is you want to start heavier, then work down to lighter. For example, you start at 50% VDEC or velocity decrement, or 50 to 70% body weight. Then you go down to 30% VDEC or 25 to 50% body weight. Then finally you go down to 10 to 20% body weight, probably. Sorry, what? Yeah, sled's really very good. If you can't get your hands on a sled, first of all, buy a sled. You won't regret it. You're going to get faster if you get a sled. Simple as that. But if you can't do that, do hill sprints. Hill sprints are really good. It also helps your technique because it's the natural gradient actually forces you into getting into good positions in terms of acceleration. So hill sprints are also really good. Not as good as sled sprints though, because sled sprints you can progressively overload, you can change the weight, and it's on the flat. So I think sleds are just king. Those two exercises, two best exercises, non-negotiable, incredible. If you want to get faster, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing those first two exercises. They have made me transform my speed. Simple as that. And you can transform your speed if you do them. So I'd just like to talk to you about something that would be really worthwhile for you. So don't you think it'd be worthwhile if you could really sprint super fast, if you could be the most athletic on your team, you could jump the highest, you could sprint the fastest, be the most agile, be the most athletic, and just be able to dominate every single game? Because athleticism is one of those is literally the thing that changes good players from great players. And if you can get more athletic, you're gonna change your life and your athleticism, and you're gonna become a different person, a different athlete. How are you gonna develop this athleticism? Well, the answer, my friend, is one-to-one coaching. If you sign up for this one-to-one coaching, I can guarantee that you're going to get faster, you're going to jump higher, you're going to become a freak athlete, period. But what if it actually worked? What if you actually became super athletic, became the most athletic on your field, won all the awards for the best players because you are the most athletic on the field, and you know that athleticism determines how great you are as a player? So yeah, if you don't want any guesswork, you want pure gains, sign up for the one-to-one coaching, my friend. I look forward to seeing you there. And next, we have the 12-week training program. You can sign up for that. That's more of a cookie cutter program, but it's still really good if you want to get more athletic and jump higher, sprint faster, that kind of thing. And last of all, at the very least, we have the free 4-week speed training program. That's completely free. No expenses, pure gains, and from it, you'll sprint faster. So have a look at them. They're all in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Don't want to waste your time anymore. Strength. If you want to sprint faster, specifically acceleration mainly, you need to get stronger. You need to increase the amount of force that your body can produce into the ground. More force into the ground in acceleration means more speed. Okay? Simple as that. Simple as that. Sprinting is all about physics. Yeah? You need more force. You really do. This is huge for early acceleration, and all the best sprinters are very strong. They are. Noah Lyles, he spends a lot of time in the weight room. I don't know what his numbers are, but he's strong. And there's been countless other elite sprinters who have been very strong. So I'm just going to talk to you through the best exercises that you need to be doing now. First of all, the Bulgarian split squat. The Bulgarian split squat trains maximum glute force production in angles specific to sprinting. Angles seen in early stance and when the glute is fully lengthened. This is huge for early acceleration, right? If you can get stronger on the Bulgarian split squat, you see here, it's one leg, obviously, and that's specific to acceleration. If you can get better at the Bulgarian split squat, you can get stronger, you're going to increase your power, you're going to be able to sprint faster and accelerate faster. Now, elite sprinters don't care about arbitrary strength standards. However, it's a great goal to aim to get to 1.5 times your body weight on the Bulgarian split squat. It's a very hard goal to reach, very difficult. It will take you probably years to get there. But if you can, when you do, you will be super fast. I can guarantee that if you are sprinting every week, doing Bulgarian split squats, you're going to get super fast. It's simple as that. And don't blame your genetics. If you can get super good at the Bulgarian split squat and sprint and do sleds and the rest of the things in this video, there's no chance that you're going to be slow. No chance. So, go get strong on the Bulgarian split squat. Next, calf raises. Calf raises are often neglected, especially heavy calf raises. You'll see people do thousands of calf raises every day. That's bullshit. It doesn't work. Now, the gastroconsolius are the muscles in your calf that attach to the Achilles tendon. Now, the Achilles tendon is the ever important spring in your leg that helps you to sprint fast and jump high. When you do calf raises and seated calf raises, you increase the cross-sectional area of this Achilles tendon, which makes it a stiffer and more useful tendon. And what happens when that happens? You'll jump higher and sprint faster. So get really freaking strong on the calf raises, and from it, I can guarantee you'll sprint faster. Get really strong on them. There's no excuse for you not to get strong on the calf raises. You can do them with a barbell and load them up heavy. Next, squats and half squats, right? You need to increase your force production. Jumping and sprinting is physics. I'm not going to go into that. I think I've pretty much talked about that. I've covered that. But you need to get stronger. Yeah? Your squat needs to increase. Elite jumpers and elite sprinters don't care about arbitrary strength standards. However, aim to get to 2 times your body weight one day on the deep squat and get really strong. Half squats are also incredibly potent. Obviously more specific to sprinting because of the similar joint angle to acceleration. So get strong on the squats, no excuse. Power cleans, right. Jumping and sprinting is all about rate of force development. Rate of force development is your ability to produce lots of force very quickly. More rate of force development means you're better at that. Okay. The best way to increase your rate of force development is power cleans. All the best athletes, think Noah Lyles, they do Olympic lifts because it works. Now, I have seen a direct correlation between how high my power clean is and how good my acceleration is, right? Because when my power clean increases, I have more rate of force development, and more rate of force development means I can push out and sprint faster from the get-go, from the acceleration. Now, to learn power cleans, it's pretty simple actually. Basically, you need to rep out an empty barbell, look at videos on YouTube, and just rep the living hell out of it, and eventually you'll perfect it, and it's just a rep thing, truly. You can also do squat jumps to increase your rate of force development. The RDL, really important. Hamstring and glute strength, as you probably know, is very important for sprinting fast. Get it stronger, you'll sprint faster. Simple as that. Squat jumps, good tool for increasing your rate of force development. You can superset them with squats for a phenomenon called post-activation potentiation, PAP. What happens then, basically, so you do a set of squats, right? Then you have this phenomenon called PAP, right? Your leg muscles are activated, and then you can do these squat jumps, and you'll perform better in the squat jumps because of the PAP, and that leads to a greater stimulus, more adaptation, sprint faster. So a really good tool, though it's not as potent as power cleans. Power cleans are the best thing for rate of force development. And just a side note, okay, power cleans are never going to be as good as sled sprints, right? And why do you think that is? It's because it's the direction of force application, okay? Acceleration, as we've discussed, is all about horizontal force production, horizontal power. Now, sleds, you get exactly that, but power clean is a vertical force production, vertical rate of force development. Now, it's still very good, don't get me wrong. If you do power cleans, you do squat jumps, you're going to sprint faster. You're going to sprint faster if you do them, because you're improving your general rate of force development, but that's why sleds because you're increasing rate of force development in a specific direction, that's why it's going to be incredibly potent. So that is literally why you should not skip out on sleds, and that's why I've preached it so heavily. Now we're going to move into some plyometrics that are really important if you want to sprint faster. So what we've covered so far is sprinting and sleds and all the strength exercises. Plyometric sprinting is a plyometric, by the way. Sleds are a form of a plyometric, but we're not going to include them. Sprinting is the best plyometric you could do for increasing general athletic capabilities and sprinting faster, right? Law of specificity. But these are general sort of plyometrics that you can do that will definitely get you faster. So the broad jumps. There's a study here in 2021 that showed that the broad jump highly correlated with sprint speed. There's actually calculators online that you can put in your sprint speed over, let's say, 30 meters or 60 meters, and it will sort of make an estimate of what your broad jump is. It's actually fairly accurate. I found it's fairly accurate at least, and you can do it vice versa as well. That kind of just goes to show that broad jump correlates to sprint speed, right? Acceleration is dependent on how much horizontal force and power you can produce, and that is exactly what the broad jump tests for. That's exactly what it trains. If you can do broad jumps a lot, you're going to get better at producing force horizontally. You're going to get better at being very powerful in a horizontal frame. You should aim to get to 300 centimeters one day. It's hard to reach, but if you can get there, you'll be fast, okay? You'll be fast if you get there. Now, you should be doing these 2 times per week, and from it, your broad jump's going to increase. You're going to sprint faster. So, right. So here, known variable. So you can put in your broad jump, right? You can put in your broad jump, right? So let's say it's 300 centimeters, 100 times, sub 10. And as that increases, so let's say it's 400, I don't know if anyone in the world can do this, but okay, so that 330 is the max. Holy shit. So if you have a 330 centimeter broad jump, chances are you'll be running sub 10. So that goes to show. And yeah, hurdle jumps. So hurdle jumps are a potent tool for improving your your reactive strength index. Now the RSI is a good indicator of how fast you can run, top speed, and good sprinters have higher RSI. And they're good at hurdle jumps, so get good at hurdle jumps. That will help you to sprint faster. And now let's talk about technique. So you must dial in your technique, right? If you can do these cues that I'm going to talk to you about, your sprint form will look better than 90% of athletes. So for acceleration is all about body projection, right? You need to throw your shoulders forward so that you can project your body forward. And then you need to drive your knee down and back for the first 3 steps. Just think that every single time you go out and do sprints. Down and back, down and back, down and back. And then drive your knee down every single step after that, because vertical force production. So those 2 really potent tools for getting better at acceleration. And I've used them personally. And the beauty of cues, right, is that the more you do them, the more it becomes second nature. So if you really dial those in, you think about that every single sprint session, your sprint form is going to get really good. And it's, as I said, it's going to look better than 90% of athletes, and you're going to be fast. By the way, technique is one of those things that you can just dial in, and from it, you'll sprint faster immediately. It's not like a stimulus or adaptation kind of thing. It's literally just, you can fix it there and then, and it will make you faster. Now, top speed, you want to land under your hips and you want to drive down. Think about stabbing the floor. think about hammering the nail into the floor. Whatever works for you, but for me personally, stabbing the floor, that helps me to sprint really fast. Keep your hips straight, tuck your glutes in. What does that mean? That means, right, instead of sprinting like this, you sprint like this. Then stand tall with a tight core, brace. Notice the difference. This is braced, and this is not braced. What do you think is going to run faster, right? And finally, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the programs because they will help you to become super athletic, and from it you will sprint faster and become super athletic, become a freak athlete. At the very least, get the free speed program and subscribe, like and comment, and I will see you in the next one because the next one's going to be a gold one. Thank you for watching.